Hello there, guys. How you doing? I'm just come through here. Hello. It's still a little bit dark in here, I'm afraid. I've sort of cracked my screen as well, and it's slightly going to go over my camera, so I'm going to have to pull my phone people in. But obviously today I received a gift this morning. Still asleep, thank God. So today I received a gift this morning from Children's Social Care in Portsmouth. I'm just going to open my window and get some fresh air because I haven't actually been in that long. My voice is, as you are all aware, my body has this genetic mutation in my collagen called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and I have vocal cord dysfunction within it. So my voice changes all the time, I'm afraid, so you have to get used to it. So I'm sort of expecting someone to come on my live tonight, by the way, guys, and try to see if they can telekinesis with me and try to play with me. And it's going to be very interesting because I'm not 100% going to know, because unless you say hello to me, so hello there, Maria, I don't actually know you're here. Please bear with me on these lives as well. I'm going to start coming back the way that I am meant to be on my lives. Obviously, I've been dealing with a lot of trauma, but what an amazing, beautiful afternoon I've had. Like, seriously, I won't get into it just yet. Just let a couple of people come on, because I'm getting a little bit predictable now on when I'm coming on, so people sort of know. And thanks to those who are actually saying, slow down, Kelly, I'm trying to catch up. I was like, you actually take the time out to watch my lives, because officially I'm really talking to myself. I know that sounds a little bit egotistical, but it's my way of coping with everything on my mind, as Crackbook says, everything going on around me, everything that's going on within me, and everything that's going on surrounding me, and everything that's gatekeepering me, and everything that is enabling me. And it's a very difficult walk to have. It's like you people out there that are watching the BBC and the Prime Minister and the front pages of the paper, and they're in such a trap that you're so fucking fear-mongered that until somebody goes, have you thought of it this way? And they go, so today I watched something so damn beautiful happen, and I've got a couple of different things on what actually happened and how this has happened, but I don't really even want to bring anything into it because it was just too beautiful to even tarnish with any form of egotistical, wankery, self-prophesizing things that, it's a co-creation between so many people, isn't it? At the end of the day, I was talking to Phoebe today, and for those who know Phoebe, I talk about Phoebe. Phoebe is pretty much the only person that I've trusted to be with me, and obviously Morgan, but Phoebe, it's been Phoebe with me since pretty much Shiloh was born, and Sian, who occasionally you see pop on, who's my old neighbour, but she's not here anymore. But Phoebe, she's been with me since she was sort of like 10, and I know all of the kids here on the park, as you know, and obviously I know a few of the mums and stuff from the park that that I used to go to, but I've had such a challenge with going there and interpersonal relationships and dealing with what I'm going through, and also being who I am, and being in a place like this, being Kelly Cotton, is a bit really difficult, and people really don't know how to take somebody like me. If Morg comes on, by the way, today, and if anybody reads the post that I've written below this live that sort of says hello Morg and happy birthday, that's whose live I was on last night chanting. Strange. Weird science. I was watching a really cool thing. I was actually Googling Weird Science. Who remembers the film Weird Science, where they created the woman Kelly LeBrook, funny enough, who I was named after by my father, who had a crush on Kelly LeBrook, the woman in red and all that stuff. So that's how I got my name Kelly, which apparently means warrior maiden, which got fuck all to do with me. It's just that my dad had a crush on a woman, and that's how I got my name. And if my mum had got her way, it would have been Georgina. So I used to look in the mirror for years and think, I really don't recognise my name. So Anyway, I can't wait until I disappear. It's fucking amazing. I can't wait until all of a sudden I just literally, I think I've got about 3 books coming. And then I'm going to be obviously either making a decision about this stuff, yeah, 19th of fucking July, that will be deadline, yeah, 19th of July. So basically, for those that don't know, the 19th of July 2015 was the day that I broke my gag on Downing Street. When I say I broke my gag, what does breaking my gag mean? I broke my gag. What's a gag? A gag is basically somebody putting a mask over you and going, now the thing is, be it a child with a physical hand over their mouth, be it a mental hand over the mouth. It's basically saying that somebody is telling you what you can and can't say. Now, if you go to a job and you work for someone, say Amber, me and Amber have had this conversation. Amber, learnt a lot of respect and stuff from us. As you know, I've already discussed it when Amber came over to meet Elijah and how she was treated by me and Dean, because I could have stood up for it and I didn't, and I did and I didn't, but Amber still went home after taking a beating from her family for staying there than here. A long story, and I have talked about it, but basically, as somebody who is in someone's private life as an employee, so whether I employ a cleaner, whether I employ a PA, an au pair, or any person who works for me to enable me to do what I need to do. So that would be people who either drive my vans, take my tour rig, do my engineering, any of my sound equipment, video. And it's like on Sunday I'm going to be doing my dance, by the way, at St Mary's Hospital. I have started to co-create to make this happen, so I might be doing a few places. I might even hit 42 places, or just 2. But I am going to go to St Mary's Hospital to do this. 4th floor. Now I've got to be careful here because one goes to maternity and the other goes to mental health. And it is the full-blown lockdown mental health unit right next to it, so this should be interesting. So anyway, I am going to go to St Mary's, and Phoebe's going to come with me, and hopefully she's going to hold my live while I have my headphones on, so you're not going to hear what I'm listening to, so there'll be no noise disturbance. To you it will be a silent dance, but to me I'll have full-blown banging head music, and you'll get 3. I might even just get 2 this time, depends if police come to me. Especially how I do this, because as you know, I did it at the Civic Hall the other day and I absolutely kicked the shit out of their front door, and I mean physically kicked the shit out of the front door without touching it by a millimetre, so it didn't even actually touch the door, but to the cameras it would have looked like I was physically beating down the door. And yeah, I even went on my fucking knees on the main frame that goes all the way around it, and I did the most epic, coolest thing that I actually heard people go, whoa, like shit. So I'm getting a bit brazen with this now. I'm getting, not cocky, but brazen. I'm getting a bit confident with doing it in front of people to the way that I like to do it, not the way that means that bouncers come over and have to kick men away from me because I'm going to literally grab them by the throat if they touch my ass, boob or anything if I'm dancing. I actually started dancing in clubs in cages when I was 14. Another story in the book, enough time. Not those sort of cages, but yeah, I basically used to dance at Cinderella Rockefellers in Guildford and Harper's, Liquid, and somewhere else from the age of 14. My mum used to think I just used to stay with the older people, and I just chill out and watch films. But after a couple of hours, we used to pull off our pajamas and hit the clubs. So I used to be with a bunch of 20, 30, 23-year-olds, and obviously I was 14, so nobody did said or nobody. They just thought I was the small friend, and nobody wanted to humiliate me. Funny enough, on my 18th birthday, I got asked for my ID, and I laughed and said, I have been dancing in here for 4 years. And you asked me for my ID on my 18th birthday. So yeah. Oh, and Cheeks in Aldershot, I was a bit brazen there though. It was a bit more social and sticky feet, horrible place. And then obviously the rest is underground. So, but anyway, I mean, yeah. Now you're all here. Who's here? Let's have a look. I will really want to tell this story today because it's just so beautiful. It's just. Oh wow! I said as soon as I got back today as well. I'm going to get so much shit for today as well, especially for my life. Especially when you see like I'm at the beach with someone and you think, oh, is that Dean? No, it's not Dean. Is that Dean? Is that no Dean? Has Kelly got another boyfriend already? Blah 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 blah. Especially when you got a lot of your neighbours around as well, and it's not. No, and I actually do know Danny. I've known Danny since I've been here because Phoebe's uncle. So either Phoebe's uncle babysits or I babysit. So that's how we know each other. And also, where my phone shop is, where my car parks, it's always Danny. I say watch kids in the car while I run into the phone shop, and that's how you build community, really. But we're not interpersonal friends. So how do you define a friend? I mean, it's so difficult, isn't it? How do you define a friend? I mean. When I was a kid, so from say 3 to 11, and everybody knows it was me, Daniel Barnes, Neil White, Andrew Fothergill, and Roger Martin, and that's who I grew up with. And then I think when we were about 9, the Maces moved in, and then the Pegdons moved in, so we had a slight different network, and again it was all boys. And you know, for me as a girl, I had 2 next door who my dad and mum sort of said to me like they were cousins, so it's like uncle, and it's like, but they weren't, but it was next door neighbour. And the girls just played in with like Surveillant Family and things like this and dolls and shit. And it's like, really? Like, really? You see it, right? Oh my goodness, why do I want to sit here going, hello, my name is Suzanne. And it's like, really? Like, seriously, where's my BMX? Where's my roller skates? Where's the dens? Where's the tents? What can I climb on? What can I jump on? What can I go and find? And what could I adventure and explore? And like, I mean, I was a kid. If you have to look at the map, it's really funny, and I'll actually do it so Amber can have a look and pull it up for you. So I grew up at Falling Crescent in Headley Down, Heatherlands. I can probably even GU5 4PQ. I think that's it. And I used to literally go from our front door all the way down to the common, all of the Heatherlands sort of estate, and then I used to go across on what was the posh street, all the way up, all the way through the commons, all the way through the woods. But then behind ours, we used to go through Foxy's and Woodacres, and Foxy, by the way, Samantha Fox's dad. And I've been shot by either Woodacre or Foxy with salt guns, and I've got a scar up the back of my leg as well, like getting a salt gun in the freaking backside while catching the barbed wire. You know when you jump over a fence and you flick it up like a cocky cunt, and then it flags up, and it literally tore right up the back of my leg. But I used to like to go and see the deer up there. There was these deers, and it was so lovely, and I always wanted this camera. I have always wanted this camera, and when cameras come out, it was a bit different because I was really lucky, because I used to go to sidecar racing with my mum's, I don't know how many in after my dad. I remember he was the significant person to me, and it was Colin. And he owned a motorbike shop, and he was a sidecar racer and a motorbike racer, but he sidecar raced. And I don't know how many times I went, or if I've got one memory of one particular weekend, or if we went on many, 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 many occasions. But I remember it being over. I don't know how long they were together. Blah 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 blah. It's difficult at that age, isn't it? So, I know there's pictures of me with my hamster and clowns and my roller skates, and me holding one of them really old cameras where it sort of went out like that. And then there are pictures of me along the years holding cameras, and they're always somebody else's camera, and everybody was like, yeah, cool, you know. And so they all had photographs, because I would go around taking all the photographs. People would give me them little click things, you know, the old ones, and I would do it, and they'd go and get them developed and stuff like that. So I was never really in any photographs. The only time I was ever in photographs, it was always majorette competitions, netball competitions. Obviously, I was a football player as a kid, and see me for in the thing. So, and also when I did my award for qualifying as an IF mini whatever coach it was, then obviously I'm in papers for things like that. I was in the papers for things like the carnivals and martial arts awards, and then obviously when I won the competition that opened the door for the film. And then, which I've told you, didn't I? My parents argued and it never happened, and other things, it never happened. If I wanted a motorbike, it couldn't happen. If I wanted a fucking horse, it couldn't happen. The joys of having divorced parents who compete over who can get what for the child, that actually they end up not having. So it was always sort of like, you remember, is it 50 Cent? He's a window shopper. It was sort of that sort of growing up, and it really always is, because I grew up with a mother who used to always say to me, you want it or you need it. And I say, but I need it. And she'd say, no you don't, you want it. And I say, but I do, because schools put it on the list that we need it. And I was always arguing with my parents about the list, you know, when you used to go on school trips or things like that. Because when you're a separated parent, who the fuck pays for the child? And they spend more time debating on who is responsible on financially supporting the child, that they completely forget that there are emotional needs to that child. And actually, when people say attention seeking because of divorced parents, and obviously I had divorced parents so I was born, it's actually my 42nd birthday, so yes, I am 42. I actually got my first ever compliment today on the fact that somebody said, I've got to stop showing my stomach. I'm starting to get to the point that my stomach needs to start getting really toned, because I'm quite actually impressed to get to 42 and not actually have any stretch marks on my stomach, and to have officially carried 6 children to full blown, well, not, it's like, you know, but to have got to say is, obviously I've had premature children, so I could even feel the cockiness smile coming in. Can you get it? Can you see it? 42, mate. I'm going for something for 50. I've made a decision today, by the way, and I'm going to put it out there. And I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to put it out there. Fuck that. Fuck it. I'm going to put it out there, and I'm going to maybe do this. Fuck going across to the Isle of Wight on a hovercraft. I'm going to do something else. And the reason that I'm going to do it is because I feel that there are a lot of really beautiful, lovely people here in Portsmouth, and it's a very small island, and somebody like me could really make a difference here in my place of birth. I wasn't born and raised here, but where I showed you today on my live, I've been going there since I was born, with either my dad or my mum or my grandparents, or, you know, all the way through, either each summer once for a Saturday or something, or, you know, you'd get on a coach to go with your local club or something like that. So I've been going there for many years, or I would come here with my children and stuff, Liam and Daniel and things like that, every time I would come to show them where I was born and things. So, and then obviously different chapters and things. So, and as you know, if you do listen to my lives, then I might have to start calling them podcasts, because people consider it long-term podcasts, not a problem. Sitting and watching somebody for an hour, but listening to somebody for an hour is not so much a problem. So I might go back to doing podcasts. I used to do podcasts. So people know that my mum was at Mill Chase School in Borden, and my dad wasn't at school, and my dad went to one of them doodah schools. So my dad was old enough to have a motorbike, and my mum was still at school. And literally, my dad pretty much pulled up on his motorbike, picked my mum up from school, and brought her all the way down here to Portsmouth from Borden, and they went on the hovercraft or a boat or something like that. And there's a photograph of both my mum and dad, you know, cuddled up on. I'm sure it's the hovercraft. I'm sure they've said it was the hovercraft, but potentially it could have been one of the boats. And somewhere between them and then getting home and getting into probably a lot of trouble, one said Kelly was conceived into the world, and said 9 months later, and my mum turning from 15 to 16, she was 16 on the 11th of April, and I was born on the 17th of May, and I was born here at St Mary's Hospital, but I was what was considered an abandoned baby. If you read the article in The Sun that my mum wrote, she basically said that when she, I'm not being emotional, my throat is just that, and some croaky coming, but I think what she said in the article was, when she came around, because she had a cesarean section, when she came around, I was upside down, cord wrapped around my neck, and blah, 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 and completely breached. And of course, EDS. So what people didn't realise is I was actually born with, I think over the time that they've matched, over 92 subluxations and potential dislocations in my body. And I was jaundiced and yellow, and I was literally just put into whatever they put in at the side. And my mum was just told to take the pill. And obviously, because she was so young, nobody was blessing this baby coming into the world. Nobody was sort of celebrating this baby. There wasn't this celebration. I don't really know much around the time. All I know is my mum got very badly bullied. She was expelled from school because of being pregnant. She was classed as, I know the sentence because I stood up at school when I went back to that school, and I stood and I looked at that teacher who tried to bully me, and I looked her straight in the eyes and I said, I am the child that brought disgrace to this school by being born, you know. So and that is pretty much what I grew up as being, the child that brought disgrace to the school by being born. And my mum was expelled, and my mum was a highly intelligent, gifted, who was originally sort of Egger Grammar School and ended up at Mill Chase because obviously, you know, things, and in the end, the pressure of my nan and my granddad, who was sexually abusing my auntie, and the separation and all of that sort of stuff, and the pressure, my mum bolted, and she ran off with a band. She ran off with what did they sing? She ran off with China. I'll remember it later. She ran off with a band basically, and left me with my nan. She didn't even leave me. She didn't even leave me. My nan literally pushed her out the door. I know I initially went to my nan's with my mum, and my dad came to visit, and then obviously my dad took my mum to stay with him with my nan and granddad in Borden. And then obviously there started all these stupid fucking battles over a child that not one of them will send me a card or be with me on Sunday, and couldn't give a fucking flying rat's ass about me. You know, my nan my nan actually put through for the adoption of me. I don't ever know if social services was ever actually involved, or if it was my nan that dominated the situation. But my mum, obviously, I know I was one of the last sections of children that didn't go. My mum should have gone to like the Magdalene places, but I know my nan's kept my mum and my dad together. And in law now, then my dad would have been considered over 18, so my mum would have been underage, so that would have been an issue now as well. So basically, I would have been born with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, Asperger's, and I was jaundiced, and I have had all these problems. But because I explained it to somebody once, right? And I said, and this was when I was at Save the Family, and we had a football pitch at the back. And I said, right, I said, if I basically put all the umpires and everybody all the way around and on the football pitch, yeah, and then I put me in the middle. I said, so now I put you all around a circle of me, and you're all the key people that should be around me, like social workers and medical people, blah, 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 blah. So basically, I get on with what I'm doing, and then all of a sudden I injure myself, and I chose to turn to somebody. But you're all trained to treat me like a lying, attention-seeking. I don't even want to carry on with the names that these people have said. In fact, let me do it. Liar and attention seeker, just needs discipline, believed to be sexually active, do not believe her lies, makes up stories, claims to be pregnant. And I was pregnant, and they were popping pills into me and constantly telling me they were going to send me to Epstein, and constantly telling me that there was nothing wrong, and oh my goodness. I don't want Faith going through this. She'll die if she gives birth. I want Aaron and Liam and Daniel and Elijah and Shiloh especially. And you know what? It's not the condition we have a problem with. It's not the condition that's the problem. It's not the conditions that we live with or manage that's the fucking problem. Take this so-called plandemic, yeah? Take this plandemic. Bill Gates basically 4 years ago went, whoa, what we're all going to do when there's a pandemic and all of a sudden we got a virus fucking outbreak, yeah? And so all of a sudden we've had a virus pandemic. Look how fucking shit our country is at filing forms, putting fucking orders in, making sure everyone's got gloves and masks. What the fuck would they have done if they had hit us with a fucking bio freaking, well they have, but what if they have fucking hit us with, you know, doo-dah, like seriously, how long does it take to get your shit together? So say I'd been down at the sea today, I feel so blessed, I felt so safe today, I felt so safe, I felt so blessed. It was such a beautiful thing to see today, and you saw the boys on the rope, so I showed you the video of the boys on the rope. And just as I switched the live off, all of a sudden, I saw this little 10-year-old boy. It's not Aaron, but I saw this little boy. And he just looked at me with the biggest beaming smile and gave me the biggest twinkle in his eyes, right? And all of a sudden I saw two of the mums that used to go to this park with their kids and their picnic and their barbecue stuff, and trying to sort of go past me a bit without sort of saying hello and trying not to sort of interfere with the fact that I'd been doo-dah and interacting with people, but the fucking smile. And it wasn't even the smile, it was the eyes, it was his eyes, it was his eyes. And then you got mum and one of the other mums, and they're sort of walking, feeling, I can see their auras and how they're feeling, and it's a bit more sort of like going down the back of the bike sheds for a quick smoky fag. And it's like, we're walking to the beach and going to the beach. Hi, we're saying hello to you, but we're not saying hello to you.
And then you sort of saw the kids sort of thinking, and I know how one of them's going to be feeling, because when they started talking about stuff at school before all of this and they started spraying all the kids, he was so scared. And I used to talk to him at the school gates, and he was so fucking scared about what was going on, and like thinking he was going to die and everything, and really fearful. So he was sort of walking, but he didn't have puffed up prideness. He had, I'm walking, and I'm not really sure how I feel about this, but I'm really, really looking forward to just sitting down at the beach, but I'm not quite sure what's going to happen. And I think what I did on my live, and I'm assuming that maybe a few of these people maybe watch my lives, I think by what I did down at the live on the police, I have a feeling that Portsmouth are going to leave people alone. I will find out tomorrow when I go on my route. I would like my car sorted. I might have a couple of people going to help me get the tyres sorted and things, and apparently there is a garage here at £45 a piece, and they'll come and actually do it here. So I'm paid tomorrow, but my budget goes so fucking fast, and every month I'm trying to make sure I've got enough for month and deposits, but now it's gone up to 2 months fucking deposits, so I can literally just get in the car, move, go sign the papers, leave the car, come back, bring the van and move, and that's it. And that's all I really want to do, because that's just the easiest thing to do right now. So, but I got a bit of Stockholm syndrome going on with Portsmouth, because I'm so fucking fearful of going somewhere else and having social and paperwork and everything with, if I don't do this with Portsmouth. I don't want to put anyone in prison. I don't want to sue people. I don't want to take money off of the system. Nobody could have ever really known that I wasn't until that one doesn't lift, for fuck's sake. Jesus. God, all my washing's gonna fall on your head down there, dude. 2 seconds, guys. Oh, this could be a disaster. That's it. You're a bit more there. That's it. Too funny. Oh my goodness, too fucking funny. Oh, it's lucky I'm a fucking interventionist, isn't it? Because I always get in there just before the problem escalates. So if I hadn't have actually have gone in there, I probably would have ended up with all of my washing on top of my son. However, I would have created the problem by putting him in that place with potential avalanche if he had actually pulled anything. But he was quite cosy, so I left him to it. 2 secs, I'll make sure he's settled. Two seconds a minute. I fucking hate ponytail. Anyway, I still got red on, by the way, and the reason I got red on, because it's reds for EDS today, so there's my fucking red for you. That's my bit for EDS. I really fucking hate these EDS things. Why do I hate these EDS awareness months? The reason that I hate these fucking EDS awareness months is because they make shitloads of money for research and do fuck all for the people that they're using as guinea pigs, and I hate that shit. So, anyway, it's a beautiful evening. It's a lovely, beautiful evening. So let me carry on. So anyway, when I left you guys, they carried on walking down. I didn't know where they were going or anything like that. I just saw them walking past. They could have just been going for a walk or anything. And I'm gonna go and sit in the bedroom where it's a bit darker. My son sort of trashed it, a bit lighter. I mean, my son's. Do you want to? Shall I do some promotional work for Dean for a bit? Shall I be nice for him for a bit, just for a bit? Shall I? And stand there for a bit. Anyway, oh, in fact, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to sit on my son's
doodah thing for a bit. That's fine. I can sit down here. So anyway, if I put my feet forward, I might knock this whole unit on me because it's not screwed into the wall. So anyway, yeah, so literally I sort of turned my head and I saw Phoebe, and I thought Phoebe was with her mum's boyfriend, and I'm a bit funny, like with men and stuff like that, so I sort of said hello to Phoebe and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden I realised it was Danny, which is actually Jackie, Phoebe's mum's brother. They know they're in my book, so hence why I'm actually talking about them. And you know, these characters, these are if I don't mention somebody's name, it's because they haven't told me that I have permission to write about them in this particular chapter. And if I do mention their names, it's because they've said they don't care, or they want to negotiate royalties or something with me for actually discussing it. So if I do mention their name, then obviously Phoebe's got full permission to be on my live. And today Danny just was like, yeah, do whatever. But obviously we were a bit worried about like him giving me a hand with the boys coming up, because we didn't know how Dean would feel about all of this, because it's really difficult for any father to deal with any man around his child that he doesn't know, and also somebody who's as sensitive with Dean in terms of, you know, what he's gone through, and also with the fact that we don't even know where we are in a relationship. No man around me, I wouldn't date for fucking God, seriously. If this goes, if me and Dean don't get married on the 19th of July as we were meant to have done, and this goes to complete fucking shit, I can guarantee you I will not date or bring any form of, I'm going to see how you get on with my kids, until Elijah and Shiloh are of an age where they can actually sit down with me and talk to me about like how they feel about the routine and structure, and how it basically, another story another time, but I mean 10, 11 maybe, 10, 11 I'd probably start talking to them about maybe people that we would probably spend a bit of time with. And I think 14, 15 is a really, really hard time when they're dealing with, because my children will still do sort of entry level stuff with things, because I don't ever want to deny them medical things. So if they want to be like in medical, there should always be certification and stuff like that. So I don't want to deny them from what they could have. So they will still do their exams. It cost me what, 150 quid for them to sit their exams. My fucking Elijah could probably sit GCSEs when he's about 10. Probably even younger, 7. I guarantee you Elijah could probably pass a GCSE A-level exam paper at 7. And Shiloh probably. He probably need a little bit of help with, I reckon he's going to probably be dyslexic. Yeah, if you give him the reasonable adjustments, then yeah, 9, 10. So, I mean, yeah, I don't mind doing all of that with them. So at least they've got the bog standard certificate, so you can show your, you know, certificate of achievement. You know what I mean? It's still too dark in here, really. Anyway, my son's, seriously, I haven't finished. I'm so annoyed with myself. Well, I'm not actually. Look, he's pulled all the fucking cushion off of. Hang on, I've got to get this fucking dozy thing on. Ugh. Ugh. Hello guys, I'm down here somewhere. So anyway, it was really lovely because he said, oh, are you going down to the beach? And I said, yeah, cool. Yeah. I said, oh, fantastic. I said, at least I'm coming with you two. I said, because I've no idea when there's any police. And obviously they know me and they know my situation. They know how I feel about it. So I felt really comfortable, but I felt really wigged out, because there's nothing worse than seeing a really cool family walking down the road and then all of a sudden it's not. And I remember this when I was in Northern Ireland and I was living in with Graham, and there's a load of gossip that I was actually having an affair. And I turned around to someone and said, no, it's a different husband. Because they all remembered me from Aldershot with James. And then when I was with Northern Ireland, I was with Graham. And he used to call us Barbie and Ken cunts. So anyway, I don't bode well with friends. But then when I looked over at the corner, there were the mums sat having a barbecue on the beach all together as friends. because they don't have family. So they were friends with their kids, having a barbecue and a picnic, sat right next to my Joe Bananas place that's going to be mine one day. And in fact, I actually have networked to the owner who pretty much owns Portsmouth now. So I now have the complete network of the inner property people here. I want a place here in Portsmouth to bring people back from France. That is one of my ambitions. I want to bring families that have ran and want to come home and see their families to come home. That is one of my top priorities with my compensation of everything. Obviously, I've got my own personal needs, and that is my equipment. And the reason I need my equipment is because I want to be able to do my lives and then literally put everything together and put it up onto YouTube, but then to do DVDs and downloads and things like that, because I want to be able to get out and start interviewing people again and doing it so people don't mind, and signing to sort of say, look, this is the release of you on my lives and my videos and things like that. So I really want to get all that done. And I miss editing. I love the fact that I do lives, because I mean, I think you get to understand that actually I do have emotional intelligence and things like that. So, but I tell you what, I mean, watching the boys back swimming today and just being in the sea, I wish I'd been a bit more kitted out. So I'm taking over that place now, and I need some white paint. I need some graffiti pens. People are going to start cleaning that place up, because I'm sick and tired of the needles, the beer cans. The Corona was down there today, of course. So, you know, we were absolutely riddled with fucking Corona down there. That was the only bastard thing about it. Corona were fucking everywhere. Bottle caps, Corona bottles, Corona this, Corona that, Corona extra. So there was, yeah, so anyway, it's actually sort of the port for one of the boats. It's not really used properly, but I want it. And pretty much most things around here are run by a council, so is a skateboard park and everything. So I want them. And I'm the director of Step Up Britain, so they're not going to have much choice. And that's actually how it is with me being the director of Great Britain, really. So if I can get all these blueprints and put all this together and just show what it is that I'm trying to explain to you all in maybe a different way, because I'm not very good in trying to get it over in writing in a fucking manual for you to read and go or talking. You'd have to listen to me over the space of maybe 4 fucking days for me to do what I would have to do with you. And I'm actually going to start inviting people once I get it and I start nailing it and getting down there for sort of probably even 4:45, 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the morning. I'm going to start scheduling Portsmouth in a bit of a, because what you got to remember is Boris Johnson is saying, go out, go for exercise, do this, do that. But hang on, Boris Johnson, some people are in wheelchairs, some people have crutches, some people limp, some people can't run and ride the bikes, Boris, and it's just not physically impossible. This is why you have independent personal payments. So it's time to go pip, 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 pip. I think a lot of people get me. So anyway, you sunflowers, are you coming out to play? Yeah, like seriously. Tomorrow, guys, please, 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 please. There are no leaders. There are no heads. There's no banners. There's no protests. There's no demos. It's nothing. It is just literally picnic, barbecues, setups on. Please sit within your social groups. Please do practice the rules and regulations. It's about bridging the boxes and bridging the gaps and expanding the boxes. So please do sit, allow for the perimeters to come, see where the police are going to come, sit where everything is. All yellow jackets, please be available. Do not have your yellow jackets on. You are nothing more than a family having a picnic and a day out on the park, but have them in your bags. Orange jackets, same, and also to a few other people who will be available at all main, Victoria, and a few other angles of parks. So Hyde Park, Nightingale Park. I think it's going to be all national parks. So basically, all national parks, people are just going to sit and gather, and they will be preparing. So see what happens first. Have your time, have your day, watch your schedule. Some of you will have to get up, move around, and sit in other places in order to reclock yourself. Remember, we are coming into full-blown AI scanning into us now and monitoring us on face recognition. Recognise that face, do you? So basically, until Great Britain take us out the WHO, which basically means Boris Johnson and our government and you, the taxpayers. So basically, you people who lives are. So if you're a cash in hander who works for somebody, so say you're lifting furniture, doing all these jobs, these people are struggling. If you're, say, a startup business who just got going, you didn't get funding, they're struggling. If you are a business that has employees plus extra employees, those people are struggling, and the employer is struggling without that people. If you are somebody who is a corporate company that is dependent on anything that is to be shipped on large quantities that is not being brought in due to border shutdowns. Yes, planes are flying. Yes, boats are moving. The main thing that is moving in this country is the Royal Mail. Hovercraft is moving for the Royal Mail. Everything is moving for the Royal Mail. The Royal Mail is continuing to work at all times, all the way through. Police are continuing to work. All people who are protectors of one said crown are all at work. Harry, 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 Harry. Can't go back, can he? Because obviously he's not his father, but them two have got a chance to do something amazing and beautiful. So today was even more amazing and beautiful because as I turned around and looked to my left and looked to my right, there was actually a number of my neighbours and the surrounding area all sat down on the beach with their own families, none of them intertwining with each other. We didn't really interact. I actually acknowledged a few people but didn't want to because I was quite happy moving in the way that I needed to move. Am I still there? I just accidentally hit the side of my phone and switched my phone off, sorry. So it was really lovely. So, and then it was even nice as well. And I didn't really want to hide my friend off because of Dean kicking off, and I wanted him to actually see it because on one occasion we're on a tightrope, and actually there was two men there and one woman, and it's like, and it was lovely. And then obviously it's Phoebe and it's Phoebe's uncle, but we're at the front of the sea and it's kids and stuff. And but then I'm sort of thinking, hang on a minute, I've got my neighbours then thinking, hang on, that's not Dean, is she seeing someone else? And I'm thinking, are these people going to turn out to be genuine people? Am I now going to have to deal with gossip when I get back that's not actually fucking true? Or actually, was it just everybody feeling empowered to go to the beach? And no police intervention, no issues. Common was lovely, so many people out, people were sitting in personal spaces and people were being really respectful of each other's spaces. Some people were crossing over and interacting, you know, and it was just so lovely. It was just beautiful. And yes, I saw the police wagon, I showed you on the live go round, and yes, it literally, I saw a police officer look at me and go, I saw the one next to him sit there and just put his head down, and you saw it. It was funny. And then the next, an ambulance come in with the sirens on, that's called dealt with what he's got to deal with. And then the policing people vehicle went round, but that's after we were sort of coming out and leaving. And the interaction with people walking around and going down is so nice because we laugh, and when there's a lot of people and everybody doesn't know whether to differ, I'm going, come on Elijah, who's got the lurgy? And then people laugh and it breaks the ice and it breaks the barrier. Or I go, still on G4, who's on G5? I'm all right, you all right, we're all right. And you know, there's so many different. Anyway, 27th of May. Please don't forget. Who are you? I want to put a bookie on. I want to start putting a vote on whose rocket's gonna fucking explode, whose rocket's gonna get around, whose rocket's gonna twist and do it, and who's going to be a complete failure. It's like watching dog races, isn't it? The big boys up in space. For those of you that don't know, on the 27th it is the launch of basically trying to start the pathway now, and the only way they've been able to do this is with G5. G5 is the only powerful sort of submission to put them where they needed to be with what they're trying to do with the satellites, to basically put worldwide internet on 5G all around the world, with all of the satellites up around the world. And also then that means we will be on full-blown recognition, face recognition, and then obviously the vaccination and the chip. And then what happens is we'll be on a point score system. If you don't believe me, go and have a look at China and how they do it in China already. So, and Canada and a few other places and a few other places. It's about control, but it's trying to influence you in a different way. But then you've got this other thing coming in where they're trying to release into this world where people won't judge people, but it's being done on a way where we have zero tolerance to things where it's about where do you draw the line, isn't it? Like, is it okay for the 10 o'clock in the morning music to talk about a child who's just been raped and thrown in a ditch when you've got kids on a school trip and the radio on? And should children be completely dumbed down to this? Should it be completely normalised for them to hear this stuff? This is what I'm sort of saying. And is it okay for, 53-year-old men to be marrying 9-year-old girls and all of this stuff? So as a world and as a collective, we can look at all of this stuff now, and we can go, but hang on a minute, in this country they're still sexually fucking mutilating people. And look at the Congo, for fuck's sake, come on, over in the Congo, my mobile phone here, yeah, my iPhone, yeah, and your phones, when it vibrates, that mineral, it's fucking guerrilla warfare over there, yeah, and women are being strung to trees, yeah, for your mobile phone, yeah. So basically what happens is, for your mineral phone, it's in a mind, yeah? It's done over guerrilla warfare, yeah? So they don't have a government, so it's done over shoot to kill and who can man it long enough, where women and babies are basically dragged out and raped. Now, it used to be that these babies weren't surviving. Now, unfortunately, children as young as 3 are now starting to this is when I was first involved in it, which goes back 10 years ago, and my mum used to say, people don't want to hear about that stuff, you can't post about that stuff. I said, people are going to fucking hear about this stuff, mum, and they're going to realise that, Apple and their money. Do you remember the film Avatar? Yeah. And in the film Avatar, it was basically a big, massive, beautiful tree that was the source of the earth that connected all the way through. So basically, you've got this earth tree that exists all the way through from top to bottom of the polarity and the force that comes all the way through. Yeah, and we've got frackers that have basically been drilling into all of these planets and all of this earth and stuff like that. And they're digging minerals out. Every different part of the world governs from different things and different oils and crude oils and ions and minerals and then everything. And over in the Congo is this particular mineral that enables the mobile phone to vibrate. Now, also you've got witch doctors basically. So they believe that if you've got AIDS, which was the man-made virus done by government to kill off the African people and all of that stuff, and all you've got to remember is they've still got a lot of voodoo. So me keeping my hat off, you don't come anywhere near mine. Look, there's my red X, mate, right over my connection to source. You can't contempt me, touch me, you can't see my eyes, and you can't play with me. And even if you do come with me with your serpent snaking fucking magic and try your fucking shit on me, mate, eyes locked down, you can't touch me, radiate me, penetrate me. And if I see it come in, be careful, because I will cut your fucking head off. And if you come to me in this realm I will connect immediately straight to source and cut your fucking head off. And I will do it quick, fast, and take you out so freaking fast you won't know what's hit you. So try it, bring it on. I love it. I love being strengthened. I love being tested. I love going through trials and tribulations, because it's like, I quite like my coffee quite weak and tea, but it's like putting a tea bag in and finding out how strong it can be, isn't it? And at the end of the day, I'm not in a competition with anybody else. I'm not in a competition with Karen. I'm not in competition with Susan. I'm not in competition with anybody. The only person I choose to be better and get up in the morning and go try again is me, and for my children, and for my relationships. No, I don't really feel like doing it for my family or Dean anymore. You know, it's like it's me. I'm really, really looking forward to going and doing this at the hospital, and I want to make it happen. And I don't want people around me that want to say, "Why the fuck are you doing this?" It could be, it could, you don't know whether there's a leukemia child battling up at the window watching it, who was a ballet dancer, contemporary dancer, or a hip hop, that's just watching it thinking, I'm dying today. They said I was going to die in 3 days, and 3 days is today. But I got a woman outside that's dancing, and I feel alive, and might realise that she's not dying today. Who knows? So who knows, maybe, who knows. At the end of the day, I was told I'd be in a wheelchair and I couldn't have children, and I love defying the odds. Tell me I can't do something and I'll prove to you I can. And if I need to, if I want to, it's not even, I'm not out to sort of go but like this thing about me swimming across to the Isle of Wight, why fucking not? Why not? Why not? Why can't I get up at 5:30? Well, be down there 5:30 every morning. My children could even be asleep in their bloody buggies, still sitting there waiting for sunrise, for fuck's sake. Why can't I have somebody down there with me, with my kids? Why can't I have that building open with my kids in there? Why can't I have other people in there while I then all of a sudden start? Why? I could do it for you. I could do it for every sexual abuse victim, every disabled, every single mother, every person who's been through DV, every person who's been abandoned, every person who's got trauma, every person who's had their kids taken. And what's going to happen? Shark to get me? Why can't I have a boat and a team that's protecting me from all of that stuff to see whether or not I can make it all the way through? And if I get over to the Isle of Wight, David Icke, you better meet me there, mate. And with them hands, maybe you can grab me out. My nan's hands were like that, by the way. Do you know why you have hands like that? It's a fear of not being believed. So, David, people are starting to believe you, but people have one problem with one thing. The lizard brain is basically the reptilian brain, which seats, I can't remember which side it is. It's one of the sides. So it basically makes your emotions hard and cold, like a reptile.